Benny, an 8-month-old pit bull, had spent most of his young life in a shelter in Gardena, California. He came to the shelter in November, a timid and sweet puppy with big, empathetic eyes that begged for someone to notice him. But with each passing day, Benny's hope faded, just like the countless other abandoned dogs who shared his fate. The threat of being euthanized hung over him like a dark cloud, a cruel fate for a puppy who had done nothing wrong except being born into a world that didn't want him. As the days passed, Benny watched families come and go, their eyes passing over him as if he were invisible. He was always overshadowed by the more lively and conspicuous dogs that ran around and barked for attention. Benny, on the other hand, preferred to sit quietly in the corner of his cage, his tail tucked between his legs. Then, one morning, a miracle happened. A family came to the shelter, a family who saw past the fear in Benny's eyes and recognized the potential for love in his heart. They had come with the intention of adopting a dog, but they weren't looking for a flashy pedigree. Instead, they were looking for a companion, a friend who needed them as much as they needed him. The shelter worker, a warm-hearted woman named Sarah, had a feeling that this day would be different for Benny. As she approached his cage, she spoke to him softly, her voice filled with warmth and compassion. Benny, unsure at first, backed away, his eyes fixed on Sarah as if she were a mirage. But as she slowly extended her hand toward him, he sniffed it cautiously, and something magical happened. Benny's tail, which had been tucked between his legs for so long, began to wag slightly. Sarah gently lifted Benny from his cage, cradling him in her arms as if she knew he was about to start a new life. Benny couldn't believe his luck. He had spent so many lonely nights in the cold, desolate cage, and now he was in the arms of someone loving and caring. The family, watching this tender moment, couldn't resist Benny's sweet and fragile nature. They knew they had found their furry family member. They adopted Benny that day, and as they left the shelter, Benny looked back at the place that had been his home for so long, his eyes filled with gratitude.